All right, TK1636.
TK32115.
Okay, now what we're gonna do, we've already started on this side. We're doing the nose. And like I told you earlier, if you don't heat it, it's gonna do this. And it's not gonna look right if you try to glue it on. It's gonna have all these little folds in it. So I'll show you how I put this on real quick, and then we'll start heating it up and then start slowly stretching the leather, or I'm sorry, the vinyl, so that it'll fit in there a lot better. Then we'll use a razor and we'll cut all the way around, and we'll get rid of this scrap part, and then we'll start gluing it down. Then we'll make the piece that goes around to hide the groove. And then here's a razor. I just have a flip up razor. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and we'll do it the other way, because this is kind of cut funny, and it'll be totally extra. So what I try to do is I'll go up a little bit high, because we want to try to hide as much of this as possible because of the dog bones. And we have them cut out not quite to the edge yet, because we're going to wait till we put that on and then get the other side on and see how much we can shorten them. So pretty much where this one goes, the dog bone is going to hide that seam down here, and then where the other piece comes down, so there'll be a little bit of a gap. The dog bone will hide both those gaps, and then it'll be on the sides. So we also want it to be able to come down all the way to the end of the boot, all the way to the end of the boot. So right here. So actually we might just end up shrinking it just a tiny bit here and leave it the lengthwise. We'll get to that in a second. So we'll go ahead and put it on. Put the middle one in for me.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Put the side one on real quick. So we're just doing the middle and the sides at first. And I got it somewhat tight. Again, once we heat it up, and it actually, go ahead and hold the back. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just going to push it down so I can see the outline of where the sole, the tread is at. And these are a little bit hard, so you got to kind of push them in. And right now, I don't need a whole bunch in there, but more is definitely better than fewer of them. Okay, now we do the other side and do the exact same thing. And this does hurt your thumbs, pushing it in.
You want me to get some?
There you go. So again, I'm not putting a whole bunch in. I could definitely put more. I'm just getting it so that it's in there so that I can heat it up. So you can see here how much it bowed up right here. It's really straight here, but it bowed up here compared to this one has 3. So we'll go ahead and heat it up. I usually count to about 40, just enough, and then I'll check it to make sure it's hot enough. And then we'll undo one side, stretch it, repin them, do the other side, stretch it, repin them, the front. And we only have to do it a couple times, you don't have to keep doing it a whole bunch. If you want to do it, a lot of people will put it out in the sun. But since it's winter time, this is definitely a lot faster. So I'm going to do this side, she's going to heat up that side, and I'm going to stretch this one while she heats up that side, and we'll just keep flopping back and forth. Alright, go ahead. So I'll just undo them. Start pulling it down. And once we heat it up, it actually makes it a lot easier to pin them. So one of them broke on me. Is it hot enough?
I don't know how hot it should be. It's hot.
Yeah, hot to the touch, and then go
Yeah.
ahead and do what I'm doing. So now I'm going to do the front. And then I'm going to heat it up again and just keep on pulling it. Okay, so now here's some of the lines where it used to be. Here's some of the marks where it used to be. Now I get to do it one more time. If it breaks, don't worry about it. Just let me get started. So if you can look and see, it took out a lot of the fold right here. It's still not 100%, but it took a lot out. 2, maybe 3 times doing this, and then it'll be good. Because you're going to have a strip going all the way around, and it'll hide it. Whatever imperfections you might have right here. Alright, that's ready for you.
Is this coming down too far?
Yeah, you might want to go back some. So now I'm going to pull the front. So I just grab it and then pull the front as best I can. Like I said, I might have to go a 3rd time with this. And I can start adding a few extra, just so I can try to get rid of all the extra folding. So now I'm not really pulling on the sides anymore, I'm just trying to worry about the front. So wherever I see a kink, I'll just pull that out and just start folding it straight. Get it to go as straight as I can.
This is like, I've got holes everywhere.
That's okay, because remember, we're cutting.
No, on the smooth part.
It's going to stretch more.
Yeah?
I'll let you mess with this one and I'll do that one. So now, I'll do it one more time and then I'll help her with that one. So now there's only just a tiny bit up front. But again, once we get it on and we actually glue it in, a lot of that's going to be glued down, and then you put that strip up front and you won't even see any of these. But we'll do it one more time. Did she come back? Alright, so now I'm going to try to do the front. This time I'll only take out a few. And I'll come over here, get this side now.
All of my heat is like useless. Everything is getting lumpy again.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice. Once you do a couple, it gets easier. And I'm going to do just a little section here. Do that one. So now,
Look at how pretty yours is.
now this one is pretty much done. So, you've only done it once though, right? Or twice?
Yes, no, just
So this is 3 times, and this is pretty much done. I'm just going to let it cool off. And then I'm kind of marking it so I know pretty much where to cut it. I don't want to go too far down this way. I want to try to cut it as close to the boot part as possible. Not here in the sole, but to the boot part, because that one piece that I'm making that go around, it's going to actually butt up against here. Any part that comes over, when you put that, glue that one piece in, you're going to see it. So the closer to the actual leather of the boot and not the rubber of the sole, the better. But I'm just going to use my razor and just cut right around the line, just like that. And maybe it might not cut all the way through, so I could trace it. I could do 2 things. I could trace it and then try to cut it with a razor, or I can trace it, take it off, and cut it with actual scissors. So I'm gonna let this one cool down just a little bit more, and we'll concentrate on this one.
Okay.
So pretty much the sides are fine. What we really need to work on is just the tip here. So we'll go ahead and do the whole, heat up the whole thing. What's he gonna do? Give me like 5 minutes.
You're probably gonna take the machine chopper down and drill it out.
Huh?
You're probably gonna take the machine chopper down and drill it out. He doesn't know what to do. We tried different years and it was asking for the same volume.
So I'm gonna pull it, and I'll go ahead and put right in the center, and then 2 right on the other side of it.
Is that fine?
That's fine. Put 1 more in, yep, and then 1 more on the other side.
Oh my god. Sorry.
Okay. Now I'm gonna pull out these 3. I'll do the same thing.
See, that's what I was doing that was not right, was I was doing a whole side and
Okay, no,
pulling out
no.
all the,
Put about 4 more.
rather than doing it like this.
That's fine. So where the holes were, because this one kind of moved up. Yeah, just put 1 more in there.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be holes in this one, but they're so close to the line that you won't even, we'll pretty much cover it up with that 1 strip. So now we'll do this side. So we're definitely gonna have to do this again, because you can see,
Wrinkles.
yep. Do like 2 more in there. So this is the second time. So now we still got 1 here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna heat up the tip. No, don't worry about it. We're gonna heat the tip up, and we're gonna take like these 4 or 5 out, and then we're gonna just do this side. This side has just got a little bit, and this side just has a little bit, but mostly we're gonna concentrate on that tip. Since we've been heating it up, it doesn't really take as much to do it. So now I'm just gonna try to get them all as, there we go.
Oh, that's nice.
So that heat really helps to make it, you don't have to push it all the way in.
Is this good?
Yep.
1 more?
Yeah, on the other side, and then I'm gonna do those other 2 on both sides.
Okay.
Now we pull this side off, and we just pull it, and go ahead. Okay, now pull these 2 off. So now we'll do it here too.
Wow, look at that. 1 more?
Yeah, sure. So at the beginning you start with a few, at the end you end up using a lot more. So there's still a little bit of a kink. I'm going to heat it up. We're not going to stretch it anymore, because actually they're both about the same. If you stretch it too much, this tends to end up riding that way, and that's what happened before, so she had to pull it back. So this should be able to be covered up by the dog bone. Same thing with this one. It should be able to be covered up by the dog bone. So this one, oops, this is the one that needs to be heated. So it's going to have a little bit of a wrinkle, but again, once we glue it down, we can use the glue to get rid of the wrinkle. And I'm debating on, because it's a little loose. I don't know if I want to tighten it in just a little bit. We'll see.
On the side?
Yeah. So let me just take out these 3. We'll just tighten the ends just a little bit. Go ahead. And then we'll do the other side.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
So you could do this by yourself, but definitely if you can get somebody to help you, it'll be just a tiny bit easier. There we go. So again, this one has just a little bit, but most of that is right where you're gonna put that other piece. So you can't really, it's about, let me do a pencil mark.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a pencil mark. I don't know if you can really see it, but all of the folded part is pretty much below. And like I said, once we glue it down, we'll glue it from the front and then we'll work our way back and we'll smooth it out. So it'll be smooth here to begin with, and then we'll pull it and glue it, pull it and glue it. Again, we don't want to really try to go too far down, because then we're going to have to try to cut it and it makes it a lot harder. So just be aware of that when you glue it and pull it, that it doesn't, you don't pull it too much where it goes below into the rubber. You want to keep it in where the leather's at on the boot. And I'll go ahead and mark this one so you can kind of see a little bit here where I did the same thing on that one. But again, once you glue the front down, it'll be glued down like that. You won't even see it.
It'll be smooth.
Compared to how it was
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. So we'll cut it once, and then we'll put it up after we undo it. We'll put it up on the.
Did you want to pull this one tighter for this access? Right here? This one's a little bit.
Yeah. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Where did my jasmine go? I thought I heard her.
Okay, there you go. Let me get this. Okay, so I totally forgot about that. If I wouldn't have, it would have been a lot further. Get in. Okay. Just stick it in. There we go. So now I'll make that line again. This size actually isn't too bad, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would much rather it be too short than too long. So we'll let this go ahead and dry a little bit, or not dry, cool down, and then we'll take all the pins out, trim it, and then we'll glue it down. All right, thank you.